Good afternoon. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. This is Apostle Michael Davis, the senior pastor of the New Testament Believers Fellowship Church. I just have a praise report on today. You know what always happens when I'm on the live? Somebody is always trying to call me. I don't know who this is, but this is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. I would like you to do three things for me. I'd like you to give us the thumbs up and like our videos. Subscribe to the New Testament Believers Fellowship Church channel, and then share and comment on this video. You know, today was ended up as a, you know, it just always comes a time when you're on assignment from God to reach a people. God will give you a reprieve on some things when all hell has been breaking loose for the total time that you've been. Well, this assignment that I've been on has been for the last 4 years, and I've learned a lot about myself, even more, and then I learned some more about people. You know, I learned a lot about myself through suffering, which is what apostles were. One of the things called marks of their apostleship is to be able to go through suffering and hardships a lot. But the thing that I always talk about was reaching young people. You know, I work in the field of education, and I reach out to young people every day. And, you know, my assignment is ending where I'm at, and I'll be going to a different place to where God will have me to go. And it's going to be bittersweet leaving this assignment because of all the relationships I've built with the young people in the place that I am. So the thing that I wanted to really talk about today, proper parenting reaches children. The Bible speaks in Proverbs, the 22nd chapter, and the 6th verse, thereabout, said, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he's old, he will not depart from it. And then in other verses, the commandments talk about children obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor your father and mother, that thy days may be long upon the land that the Lord gives thee, which is the first commandment with a promise. You know, God promises us long life if we're obedient. But on the other thing, I just want you to know that parenting does not stop when the child reaches 18. Even though I'm in my 40s right now, my mama and my daddy can call me right now if the Lord gave them something. You know, they say, well, you know, God told me such and such and this, that, and other, and thus and so. They still being parents. They still loving on me, my sister, and my brother. And you know, even though we all grown and got family of our own and all of that, and married, my parents don't. That doesn't stop my parents from still being parents. They're senior citizens now, but you know, the nest is empty. Been empty for a long time, and I'm a firm believer of proper parenting into the children at an early age. the fear of God. When they get to the age of adolescence and teenage years, they'll have an understanding of what life is really about and why their parents told them not to do or to do certain things when they were little. You know, I know it, this, that, and the other. But boy, when I got sent off to college, I came down to Tennessee, and I started seeing Negroes do crazy stuff in front of me, like they absolutely had no sense. I was like, dang, I ain't doing that because my mom and my daddy said don't do that. That's straight foolish. Not to say I didn't do nothing foolish, because I did some so foolish hearted stuff that could have got me killed. But it was God and his mercy that kept me from getting myself killed. So I just want to talk about this proper parenting situation. There was a young person, I saw when this young person came to my space in the beginning of this academic year. I saw something on this young person that there's something that it was a spirit about that there could be a lot of potential in this person to do some really great things, but some things were off in this young person. And every time I would see this young person, I would tell this young person, that you're standing on the shoulders of giants. And what do you mean? Mr. Davis, what do you mean I'm standing on the shoulders of giants? I'm saying, your older sisters. And she couldn't understand, well, I'm not my older sisters, this, that, and the other. I mean, this is how the young lady was in the beginning of the school year. And she started getting in trouble, finding out about her getting in trouble. So on Monday, the young lady wasn't paying attention in class while we was given watching a video in class that they had to take some notes on, and she missed the whole assignment. I was like, wow, okay, all right. And her and two other young ladies decided they wanted to just have a conversation and not pay attention, and they missing the work. So I tried to call the young lady's parents. I couldn't get them. The phone was busy, so I ended up sending an email to the young lady's parents, because I know I had a good relationship with this young lady's parents from 4 years ago. That started with her older sister, because her older sister is an honor student. She might be valedictorian, for all I know. She had real good grades, and it's just wow. And the youngest was out of pocket, doing stuff that she's not supposed to be doing, and skipping and all that other stuff. And I was just like, wow, what's gotten into you? What's up with that? But when I reached out and her parents talked to her and dealt with her, and she came back to class today with her middle sister, and her middle sister was saying, you know what? Mr. Davis is a real good teacher. He was my teacher and the older sister's teacher, and we had good grades in his class. Why are you messing up in his class? There's no reason you should be messing up in his class. The work that he's teaching us is easy. And the older sister said, you're not going to have another teacher like Mr. Davis when you go to the other classes next year and the years beyond that. You're not going to have that no more. So you better appreciate Mr. Davis right now while you got him, because you will not have that next year. You won't. You won't have it. And she was like, wow. And I explained to her. I said, you know, honey, I want you to understand something. I said, years ago, when your older sister was in my class, uh, there was some kids in the class that did not pay attention. They was disruptive. They messed up while they was in the class. I said, don't you know that they gotta take credit recovery classes from when they messed up in my class their freshman year? And then the older sister said, don't you know your freshman year is the most important year of high school? Because you got to get it right your freshman year, or you mess up. You have a hard time trying to get back by the time you were a junior or a senior. And the sister was explaining to the younger sister, you know, you got to do what you're supposed to do in Mr. Davis' class. And what am I reflecting? What am I saying about this? Her parents talked to her and told her she needed to get her act together because they know that I'm a good teacher. I taught both of their daughters, and both of their daughters were excellent students. They were both on the honor roll at the school. And I wouldn't be surprised if I said if the oldest sister is the valedictorian right now for her senior class. I tell you, communication is key as a parent. And I had to use that scenario that happened because by the father and the mother speaking to the child to get through to the child to understand the importance of what my job is and what my role is as the teacher, the parents, believe it or not, according to the word of God, are the first teachers. That's why it said in Proverbs 22:6, train up a child, because when you train somebody, you're teaching them something. Train up a child in the way he should go. When they old, they will not depart from it. So I'm sure the young lady will understand now from what her parents told her, and her older sisters was like, you can't be messing up in Mr. Davis' class. Mr. Davis is one of them teachers that go to bat for you when you get in trouble. You can't mess it up with him. You don't mess up with Mr. Davis, because that's not right. He's a teacher that really cares about his students, and I do care about my students because I'm a dad. I have 7 children, and I care about my 7 children. So as soon as I walk in the house after a day at work, my kids run up to me, I hug them, I kiss them, love on them, help them with their homework, go to their games and stuff like that. And, my oldest plays football and run track, and my next oldest, I'm sure when he gets to high school, he's gonna want to wrestle and he want to play football, because he played pee-wee football when he was little. Played in the little league, and that was fun too. So it's communication with your child is very key to their success as adults, and especially when they get into the teenage years. We all know that's the thing that sets the stage for them for the course of the rest of their life. So what they learn in their teenage years, they carry it, and then that's something that they're going to be able to share with their kids when it comes time. And there's some stuff that my parents was talking about was just straight dumb, but I see, and I start to really see once I left my parents' house and I came down here to go to college. I understand the why, and I saw the things and experienced things that I experienced here on my own by myself without mama and dad. parented me and pushed me in the way that they pushed me, so I wouldn't, be a statistic in society. And you know what I do in my field of education? I do a lot of encouragement to the children because I tell them about my life and went to high school together. So all our friends ended up uh, getting killed during high school, and all kind of stuff. All everybody who we those friends are that were murdered, and some got into tragic accidents, and all kind of stuff. And I tell them, always in life, you never want to reject somebody's knowledge that they're trying to help you to avoid something that you about to run in head first. Draws. And I often ask the kids when they do something real crazy, I say, what possessed your mind to do that? I ask them, what in God's name was you thinking to do what you just did? And they be like, I don't know. I'd be like, yeah, I know. And I laugh and chuckle and say, nigga, you got the devil, and what the hell did you think did that? The devil got you thinking that way. And they be like, oh no, what's that? I said, and I always tell them, heaven is real and hell is real. And I work at a really rough place, or kids that are in foster care or wards of the state, all kind of different things, And there's very few kids that I've taught that had two parents, mama and daddy, in support of them. And the only support system that some of them may have is just, the people who they see every day. And I know that these kids are going to hate it because, my assignment is up and I have to move on and go to another place. But I do plan to keep up with these young people, even after, I leave the place that I'm at now. And I always ask you, if you want to reach these young people, sometimes, and this is with anybody, you got to come down to a lower level to where they are, to meet people where they are. You have to understand what they're thinking, and then come down to their level and communicate with them. And I always communicate with the kids and try to help them understand. Life is what you make it. But you got to make the right choice in life so you get the most out of it. And I say, I know sometimes life ain't gonna be what you want it to be. You get dealt a bad hand, but you gotta make lemonade out of lemons. And I know about that firsthand, getting a lot of lemons. And then I had to make lemonade out of a lot of lemons, or had to try to win a spades game with a bad hand. With no face cards. Yeah. But that communication with the young people is key. Because sometimes all they need, yes, they probably already get screamed and hollered and cussed at or whatnot, because mom and daddy might be incarcerated, in and out of prison, strung out on dope, meth, heroin, or whatever. And the kids have to be the parent at home, or they other little brothers and sisters, and they got a lot of stress on them. And them as an adolescent, their brain can't figure out all the way how to deal with it. So what they do at school, they pop off on people. They go crazy. And I always, tell them up like, look, nigga. And of course, they be like, Mr. Davis, that nigga crazy. He crazy. He crazy. Yeah, because in order for me to communicate with them, you have to be wired a certain way. You have to be crazy. You have to be almost ape uh, to get down to the kids that I deal with every day. And the kids that I deal with every day right now remind me of the kids that I used to teach at Milwaukee Custer High School uh, back in the early 2000s. Uh, but the difference is that my kids that I taught uh, 20 years ago, they had an appreciation for being able to achieve something. But a lot of the children now, and I have to sometimes be their parent at school, and which I always tell them, away from your mama and daddy, while you under my care in my classroom, I'm your daddy. So while you in under my care, you gonna do what I tell you to do, or you got to get up out my classroom. And that's what I tell them. And then of course, they hate it when I have to communicate in the manner of saying, when you ain't doing what you're supposed to, get out. Be like, get out, get out, get out, take a break, get out. I'm like, oh, no, Mr. Davis, why you put me out of class? Because nigga, you ain't acting right, so I gotta put you out. Go out there and go think about it for a while. Have to do that. Have to communicate with them. And I'm just using my parenting skills. Do I have to do that with my parents? Yeah. With my kids? Yes, I do. When my kids get out of pocket, it's going down. If they don't do what me and my wife say, it's going down. We don't play that. We don't play that disrespect and disobedience. We don't. Because it took God and the Holy Ghost, to keep us from getting killed. God, our parents, and the Holy Ghost to keep us from getting killed. So why should we let our kids fall by the wayside and let them do anything and get away with stuff that we didn't even get away with? Not so. So I just wanted to, share that with you. It was not really much to say, but I just wanted to give you the encouragement. If you are out there and you're a parent and you encourage your child and you get down to the level to figure out what they talking about, what they're thinking, you can actually reach them. So just keep that in mind, dear hearts, and wanted to tell you that I love you. And I am Apostle Michael Davis, Senior Pastor of the New Testament Believers Fellowship Church. Love you and appreciate you. Like, subscribe, and share. Be blessed.